everyone. Welcome to myself, Max McGillivray from Beanstalk, with the fantastic Leanne Jones from the PMA in South Africa. Leanne, say hello to everyone.
Hi, everyone. Welcome.
And Leanne, let's do the weather thing. We were just talking about it in our green room. We've actually finally got some spring coming through in the UK. But tell us what's it like in South Africa today, please.
So we have beautiful, warm autumn days. So the temperature is probably hovering around the 25, 27 degree mark. So perfect weather to drink a glass of wine, take your mountain bike out early in the morning, and just have a great day outdoors.
Fantastic. And also to eat avocados, because this is what our broadcast is this month. I've got this fascination with avocados, having been blessed to have gone through South Africa through the great support of the FSA, Fruit South Africa. And Leanne, I, and the rest of the team at the PMA, we've set up this monthly broadcast to major on particular industry sectors, and this month is avocados. But before we go live on that, let's just give an understanding to everyone who's on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and on the podcast as to the PMA. So the PMA is the Produce Marketing Association, and it's a key international trade organization representing companies from every segment of the global fresh produce and floral supply chain. The PMA helps members grow by providing connections that expand business opportunities and increase sales and consumption. Their mission is to connect, inform, and deliver industry solutions to enhance their members' prosperity. And if you ever thought that the PMA was just UK, American-centric, oh no, they've got satellite offices everywhere, and hence why Leanne and her team are based in Southern Africa to promote the workings of the PMA and to promote fresh produce on an international basis. So Leanne, you just mentioned in the green room about some of the events that you got coming up. It would be fantastic actually for you to publicise those now as we've gone fully live. What other events have you got coming up in South Africa, please?
So Supermax, we have coming up actually on the 4th of May, we have an EU Green Deal series that we're rolling out and launching for our members and non-members internationally, but we will also be doing connect sessions where our members can come together and learn and dissect and look at options for their business with regard to the EU Green Deal. We also have an in-person event in Stellenbosch overlooking the mountains and the vineyards, wow. Where we're bringing some thought leaders together and allowing our members to connect. And we're talking about building a brand sustainably in Africa. So that's happening later in the month of May.
Fantastic. And just to highlight, we wouldn't be able to host this broadcast if it wasn't for Leanne and her fantastic team, and also two key sponsors, partner sponsors that we have. And we're going to be speaking to both of them shortly, with one of them actually doing a presentation about avocados. So very keen to thank very much Kizen Hub and Kantar, and we'll be speaking to Giles from Kizen Hub in a minute, and Joe Shaw Roberts from Kantar. But Leanne, what I thought would be a good thing to do is we're going to have these short presentations from Kizen Hub and from Kantar, and then we're going to hear from some key industry experts. But I thought rather than me naming them, Leanne, why don't we get everyone in, and we'll get everyone to just give a brief introduction as to who they are and who they represent, and then we'll get into the flow of the conversation. So if everyone can come in, and just for all of you at home, we're budgeting on about an hour and a quarter for this broadcast, so that you know when you need to go get a cup of tea or coffee or get on to your next meeting. So everyone's all in. So let's do it by order. Giles, can you just give a quick update as to who you are and the company that you represent, please?
Yeah, hi Max, and hi everybody. So I'm Giles Barker, CEO and co-founder at Kizen Hub. Yeah, great to be here, and looking forward to the chat.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Giles. And Joe, please, over to you.
Hi, Max. Hi, everyone. I'm Joe. I run the produce team in Kantar UK. We run consumer panels, checking all the latest consumer behaviour when it comes to buying produce.
Fantastic. Thank you, Joe. Roger, let's go over to you, please. Who are you and who do you represent? Thank you.
Roger Armitage. I'm the Managing Director of Hall's Fresh Produce, South Africa.
Fantastic. And if it's okay, Roger, I'm going to just show off. I've got one of my favourite baseball caps there. Do you recognise that baseball cap, Roger? That's so well travelled. That's all been around the world. Best baseball caps of the world, and some of the best avocados as well. Trevor, please, over to you. Who are you and who do you represent?
I'm Trevor Jukes. I'm the MD of the Fruit Farm Group South Africa. We're a multinational group with avocado, footprint here, as well as some other commodities in South Africa.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Trevor. Lindie, over to you, please.
Thank you very much, Max. I'm Lindie Strobel, and I'm the Southern Africa Country Manager for Mission Produce, based here in South Africa. And I'll share a little bit more about Mission in a bit during my presentation.
Fantastic, because Mission Produce, you're a small firm, aren't you? You're not at all a global firm, are you? You're not all over the world.
Yeah, teeny weeny little footprints everywhere. Yeah? No, no, global leader, but I'll share more about that in a bit.
Lindie, thank you. And Derek, yourself, please.
I'm the CEO of the Subtropical Growers Association in South Africa, and we manage the affairs of the Avocado Growers Association, and so that's who I'm representing this afternoon.
Fantastic. Derek, thank you very much. So everyone, what a mix of experts that we've got today. So we don't have much time because we've got so many people. So let's get into this. Could everyone turn off their videos and their audio, apart from yourself, Giles? Because we're going to hear from Giles and KitchenHub. So KitchenHub, they've been very kindly involved with all the previous broadcasts that we've done in the respect of the PMA in South Africa. And KitchenHub, although they're the UK business, they are also on an international outreach, and they're very keen to get even further involved with the South African fresh produce sector. But why am I saying this? Giles, over to you, please.
Yeah, thanks so much, Max. And I just want to give people a quick overview about KitchenHub and what we provide. So KitchenHub is a software company which was created to deliver solutions to the fresh produce industry. We have 4 key solutions which can be used for your kind of teams and your businesses. So the first one is Monitor. So that enables your grower managers when they're out in the field to collect information in real time. In offline mode or an online mode, wherever they are, they can bring that information back to your team. We then have Inventory, which gives your procurement team the kind of ability to assess kind of the stocks and inventory you have in season and post season as well. Quality is all about for your technical team, so allowing them to set their own kind of protocols about quality assessments for kind of pesticides or kind of quality of the crop when it goes into store or onto those boats to the UK or other European countries. And then finally, we have Supply, and Supply kind of connects it all together, gives you and your customers that kind of visibility throughout the supply chain, all in this easy to use software package. These 4 solutions can be used by your management team. But also, we create reports for your end customers, be it kind of UK supermarkets or some other customers you may have in your internal markets as well. And then we have some reports for your growers, giving insight back to your growers to show them how they're performing and what potentially they could do differently. All of this can connect straight into your ERP system through our kind of data APIs. And if you want to find out more, please reach out to us, as we're already servicing some of the largest clients in the UK market, and we'd love to get some of our South African businesses on board as well. Looking forward to hearing more from the speakers, and thank you very much, Max.
Giles, thank you. We did a really interesting broadcast recently on investing in agribusiness and fresh produce on an international basis. And one thing people seem to be not blind about, but there's a lot of interest in investing in agribusiness. And one of the highlights of that broadcast was that in the last recession, a number of funds were coming into agribusiness sectors as a safe haven. So that was the last recession. Now, as we're coming through the pandemic, the same thing is happening. So there are people coming in looking to invest into agribusiness, and there's the normal naivety, as you'd expect, that we all know how long it takes to order avocado plants, let alone plant them and get a return. But one of the highlights was actually the associated services that are coming through. One of those being ag tech, and the winners will be those that are already in it. So the likes of KitchenHub is fascinating to us because they're already so well established, very well funded, and looking to make this big push on an international basis. So have a look at Giles on LinkedIn. Have a look at his website, and hopefully you can catch up with him and connect with him, because they can make a big advantage to your business. Giles, just stay there. Joe, can you come on in? Because we're in some ways, guys, we're looking to present UK-centric businesses to the South Africans, but we'll give the South Africans a chance to tell us more about their amazing avocados in a minute. Giles, thank you very much, and we'll catch up with you very shortly.
Thanks, Max.
Thank you, Joe. For those that don't know, could you give us a bit of an understanding as to Kantar, please?
Kantar and my division of it, Kantar World Panel, are experts in consumer behaviour. So for everything that someone buys in a supermarket, we're tracking that. We're tracking all of their behaviour when they buy groceries. And as I run the fresh produce team at Kantar, we're specialising in how people buy fresh produce. And there is some fascinating stuff going on at the moment. And I've got some of that to share with you on avocados today.
Fantastic. And I've seen Joe speak on, Joe, what do you reckon, 3-4 years at various conferences. And Joe's very kindly been involved with a number of the online broadcasts that we've run for Beanstalk. Joe and his team, they're very mercurial. At these conferences, everyone wants to hear what Joe and his team are going to say, because in effect, they've got that magic dust. That's I'm putting words in your mouth, Joe, and I hope you don't mind. You're sort of predicting the future as to where the trends are going, so that fresh produce companies can adapt and look to sell or structure their business accordingly. So Joe, Kantar, two very powerful things. Joe's very powerful in the sector, and Kantar's a very powerful organization. But Joe, over to you, if that's okay, to run with your presentation.
Absolutely. Thank you, Max. I'm just going to share my screen. Hoping you can all see this, right now. So just before I start, worth mentioning that this is UK centric and it's focusing on the retail sector. So avocado sold in the UK through retailers. We have this available for countries around the world. If you're interested, just message me on LinkedIn or get in touch with Max afterwards so you can connect us. So to kick things off, I thought it would be a great idea to look at the astronomical growth of the avocado market in the UK over the last 5 years. So we've gone from 153 million through to 213 million from 2016 to 2020. Just a phenomenal growth story. But a word of caution, we look at 2021 and we assume that we continue the trends of the current first quarter of this year, where we're going to be roughly flat or even just declining. And this long-term growth is really being put at risk by some price deflation that's happening in the market. So I want to call that out, help you understand it, and see what we can do to help turn that around. And we can see here that really this price deflation has been going on for quite some time, but it's really aggressively accelerated post-summer 2020. So much lower prices, really driving volumes, huge growing volumes here. But as you can see in the black line, actually sort of less value contribution in the category. So the category is stagnant in value terms because of all this investment in price, which is the pink kind of causing the fall off in growth there. So we need to do something about this. And the scale of it is just crazy when you look at the figures. So you go back to January 2020, avocados in the UK retail market selling at £4.11 per kilo, now £3.75, and only going one way as well. And that average price over a time period where avocados were enjoying a lot of success, seeing lots of volume, was £4.27. So retailers have really kind of gone crazy on the march for volume, and it's actually to the detriment of the category value. And when we think about times of year where avocado performs incredibly well, this is one time of year, January 2020, where retail really got it right. We saw a quite soft lowering of prices, so £4 per kilo, just higher, about a 4% reduction year on year. And the effect that had was bringing in a much larger swathe of shoppers. So 800,000 new avocado shoppers in January 2020, which came from quite a soft, gentle price cut, really. And then we look at what's happened in January this year. Retailers went completely mad on price cuts. So minus 21%, they didn't see the commensurate volume uplift. They didn't see the uplift of new shoppers. And overall, the category declined. And the Q1 results kind of bear that out. If we continue on this track, then we're going to end up in decline by the end of the year. So we need to think about what we can do to reverse this. It's pertinent to look at promotions, but prices both on and off promotion are falling. But really, what's most pertinent to look at here, I think, is just the level and giveaway of promotions happening in the market at the moment. There's a real tug of war between the big four supermarkets and the discounters when it comes to avocado pricing, and the big four seem to be going lower and lower on their deals. And that's something to be really, really wary of, because when we look at promotional event averages from 67,000 FMCG promotions over a 2-year period, it becomes very clear that we need to beware the deep discount. So the shallow discounts, the weekly category benefit, can be pretty good. As soon as we start going to moderate and deep, by deep I mean sort of 40% plus discount to base price, we're really doing the category a lot of harm. And it's a drug that retailers need to wean themselves off, because they'll strip the value out long term. Instead of focusing on price, we should probably consider what kind of a category avocado is, what kind of consumer behaviours does it elicit. And it's pertinent to look at a lot of different categories when we think about this. So avocado is something that we're still considering quite a niche category. It has quite a high frequency, quite a loyal fan base, if you like, still reasonably low penetration, but definitely room for growth in both of these areas. And when we consider these niche categories like avocado, generally the best way to grow them, you've got 4 levers for growth, right? For any category in FMCG: more shoppers, more frequent trips, higher prices, more packs per trip. And for these niche categories like avocados, the frequency of purchase is so incredibly important. We need to get shoppers buying them more often. And it's all very well saying this, but you start to think, how can I actually do this? What levers can I pull to grow frequency? In my opinion, it's all about understanding the dishes that avocado is eaten in, which we can help you track. So here we're looking at our top 10 scratch cooked dishes over 2020. There's been an explosion of scratch cooking in 2020, and vegetarian dishes, one of the dishes really benefiting from that. And we know that avocado, very prominent in vegetarian dishes, Mexican too, but so many others. We can help you understand where avocado is eaten, where the gaps are, and what we need to push in our marketing to encourage those genuinely sort of organic growth of avocado meals, rather than retailers just, to use a crass phrase, promoting the arse off them, which frankly isn't working for category value at the moment. And meat-free and plant-based is so important for avocado consumption. Here's just a little teaser of what has happened to meat-free main meals and plant-based main meals during the last year. They're growing miles ahead of main meals with meat or fish. And avocado is such a key ingredient in meat-free and plant-based main meals. We need to really communicate this strongly and understand which occasions consumers are looking for avocado at, if we're going to wean retailers off these incredibly detrimental price cuts. That's it from me today, but if you have any questions, then please do get in touch with me on LinkedIn or get in touch with Max. I'm going to have to shoot in a few minutes, but thank you very much for your time and have a good afternoon.
Well, Joe, well done. Can you just turn off your screen share? And whilst you're doing that, just 2 quick questions from me. Do you think that the avocado sector globally is a bit of a victim of its own success, because there is so many mass plantings going on? Do you think that's going to be actually a negative element to the category?
Well, more people eating avocado is always going to be good, right? But I just don't think we need to lower the prices so much that it does the current harm to the category. I think there's so much scope for getting avocados into more meals. And I think the way to approach it with the retailers is slightly more nuanced than just going, okay, let's slash prices and drive volume. Yeah. So yes, that has been very successful. We've doubtless got lots of volume to sell, but there's such an appetite for them. If we can convince people to eat avocados at different meal times, that growth is much more sustainable.
Yeah, well done. Derek, can you just come on in as we swap over with Joe? And Joe, final question from me. As you stated in your very good, short, pithy, highly educational presentation, you referred to it being in the UK. Everything that you stated on that presentation, can we basically duplicate that to mainland Europe as well?
The UK is a reasonably mature avocado market. So you'd say in any market seeing similar volumes of avocados going into it, we're likely seeing the same problem. It might be an idea for those international growers there to look at markets where the average price is heading in a better direction than the UK at the moment, or consider what tactics you can put in place with UK retailers to make them reconsider this method of just slashing prices all the time.
Yeah, and that's a debate for another time. Joe, thank you very much for your time. We know that you've got to shoot off because you've got another appointment. Just final question for me. You've got a new addition in your family. It's a beautiful baby daughter. Have you started to feed her amazing South African avocado?
Do you know what? I have. It's amazing. And she absolutely loves it. Banana and avocado, not mixed together, are her 2 favourite foods. So I'll send you a picture one time. It's lovely.
Fantastic. Joe, thank you very much. And as we say, if you want to contact with Joe, come to me or look for Joe on LinkedIn or look at the Kantar website. It'll be all on our various links. Joe, masterclass as always. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Max. Bye-bye.
Derek, what did you think?
Well, there's a lot of food for thought there, and hopefully it's a lot of avocado food to fuel our thoughts. Very good presentation.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? That as I say, it's a conversation for another time. In a presentation that Joe did for us recently in the UK on the run up to Christmas, our discounters were looking to heavily discount veggies, trying to attract footfall in, and Kantar had shown that doesn't actually work. And that within the UK sector environment, there needs to be proper food inflation. And for something as amazing, beautiful as South African avocados, why should the consumer in the UK or Europe have to pay a small price for it when actually it should be attracted to a better price? And then there's more money for the likes of all of you to reinvest and to grow more and so on and so on. But as I say, Derek, that's a conversation for another time. And Derek, if it's okay, just going to give a bit of a background for everyone, for you, especially for the folk on the podcast, because they do like to hear about the background of people. So you are the chief executive of the South African Subtropical Growers Association, otherwise known as Subtrop, which manages the affairs of South Africa avocados, mango, and the lychee growers associations. And you have extensive knowledge of the avocado industry, having worked for the industry association in technical and management positions for over 2 decades. So you are our expert. So I believe you got a presentation that you would like to run for us.
Right, I'll just get that on the screen. Give me a minute.
No problem. And I didn't mention it. I hope everyone likes my backdrop, because I'd actually like to be in South Africa on a plateau overlooking Cape Town, but perhaps next year. Right, you say when you're ready, Derek, and I will stop my video.
Almost there.
We love the technical elements of these elements. Well, we can see you. That's fantastic. I'll let you run.
Right, Derek. And there, can you see my slideshow?
We can.
Right, okay. Can I go ahead, Max?
Go, sir, go.
Right, I'm on my way. So you've introduced me. That's just how we fit in with the Subtropical Growers Association. But today I'm going to be talking about avocados, representing the avocado industry. There's some general industry statistics, quite a lot of numbers on a page. But if you look at the commercial avocado industry in our country, we've got about 360 growers. We've got what we call emerging growers, and these would generally be black growers in traditional areas, which we are working with to get them to become commercial growers. We have an area planted to commercial growers according to our last year's census of 14,700 hectares. And there's a lot of expansion. So we're putting in at least 900 hectares of new avocado plantings a year in South Africa. Our annual production, the average over the last 5 years, is 125,000 tons. That's for both local and export consumption. And the value in South African rands is just over 2.6 billion rand. If you convert that to US dollars, we're looking at about 130 million US dollars. And very important in our country where unemployment is high, we contribute at least 11,500 jobs on farms and in pack houses as a result of the avocado industry. Where do we grow them in South Africa? There's a map of South Africa, different provinces. Limpopo province is the province right up in the north. Mpumalanga is just south of that. You'll see where these green dots are, the towns named. And so Limpopo and Mpumalanga are our main provinces. The heart of the area, the growing area, is in a town called Tzaneen in the Limpopo province. And just to orientate you, if you just go, if you can see my cursor, you go slightly to the east of those towns. This is where the Kruger Park is. Wow. So we're very close to the world famous Kruger Park, and all along the eastern side of the country, we generally got mountain ranges and subtropical climate, but more and more we're seeing, let me switch back to the previous slide, growth into further southern regions where we're able to, with late cultures, produce later fruit. And that mainly is aimed at the domestic market in the off season. Our season, of course, runs from March to September, October. That is the main season. This graph, I'm not going to go into detail, but it's a graph of nursery tree production. And if you look at the two blue bars, those are the estimated production coming out of the nurseries in the next 2 years. And what you can all notice is a strong uptick in production of trees in nurseries. The nursery geared up over a number of years to produce more trees, which will again be strongly fueling the growth in our industries. That 900 plus hectares per annum we expect to be planted coming out of the avocado nurseries. Then if we just have a look at our outlook for this year, 45 to 50% of our total production was exported fresh. At least 95% of that is to Europe and the UK and Russia. So that region is our main export market. 10 to 12% is processed into oil and guacamole. And about 45% of the crop is sold fresh into the domestic market. If we have a look at our estimate for 2021, for exports, we estimate a crop of about 66,000 tons, and compare it to last year, it's just about 10% larger than last year's export crop of 60,000 tons. Split between the dark-skinned Hass type cultivars and the greenskins, mainly Hass 64% and 36% of the greenskins. And I think a characteristic of this season is we're going to be seeing and are seeing already larger fruit, and that's because of the good summer rains that we've had, which have broken a drought of a number of years. And so we're very thankful for that. So we're looking at a larger size fruit, slightly larger crop than last year. This graph is a very busy graph, but it's what it is a breakdown of the supply to the European market from various origins. And everything up to this black arrow over here, to the left of that is actual supply that's gone into the market so far, and then to the right of that is supply going to market in the future. The South African figures are here in these red bars. That's the South African Hass, and in the green bars, the greenskins, and the big blue part over here, that's our main competitor in the market. That's Peru. Producing a lot of Hass that goes into the market. So you can see we've come through a time where there's been a lower supply and we're going into a larger supply. I think everybody in the avocado industry is aware of that, that we do have a large amount of fruit going into the market in the EU and the UK summer period. So we've got a lot of growth. Max, you mentioned that there's also been a lot of planting in South America, well, actually all over the world in terms of the avocado production. What's going to happen to that? I think a number of people are aware of the World Avocado Organization, which was established a number of years ago. And the main supporters of that association is Peru and South Africa. We are competitors, but we also promote avocados together generically to get more people eating avocados. We've also got other partners from Colombia, Spain, Tanzania, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and also from the United States. So we have a large growth in production coming, but the industry has also got together to make some increased demand through the generic promotion of avocado, promoting the health aspects and the goodness of the fruit and why people should eat it. And if you have a look at 2020, that's just a map of your part of the world. And you can see the number of supermarket groups that were involved in promotions with the World Avocado Organization spread across Europe and even into Russia to help increase the consumption and increase the demand for our fantastic product. So we also in South Africa, we're looking to access new markets because although the European and UK markets are markets that are growing, we need to be able to have other alternatives. So we are also doing work to access Japan, India, China, and the USA as other alternatives to absorb some of the growth which we will be seeing in the coming years. Thank you.
Derek, well done. Derek, can you just well done. You're sort of in front of me in the respect of stopping your screen sharing. I'm masterclass. Goes without saying. I'm a marketer, and there's one thing I've learned over having done 70, 80 broadcasts over the last year. Branding. Do you think there would be an advantage to the South African avocado sector if South Africa had an avocado brand?
think that has been discussed quite a lot, but we generally feel that what the consumer is looking for is a good quality product. So whether it comes from South Africa or Peru is not really important. And that's why we've decided to go into the World Avocado Organization with our competitors rather to promote avocados. The thinking behind it is rather grow the size of the cake so there's a bigger slice for everyone rather than to try and scramble for a bigger slice of a cake that's not growing.
It's spot on, because one thing I've learned in these broadcasts, because it's a bit of a trick question, is taste. We did a great broadcast about a month ago with a big tomato grower in the UK, and I asked him the same question, and he said, Max, no, as soon as someone tastes a really nice tomato, you've got them for life. And I think it's the same with avocados. That's when I was a child, we never had avocados, probably because I was brought up in Scotland and we didn't know what fruit was. But now, once you've had an avocado, you just keep on wanting to go back. So I've actually changed my thinking that no, you don't need to spend gazillions on a brand for South Africa avocados. It's just getting the kids and younger families to taste avocados for the first time, and then you've got them. So, and I think your thought about not being too parochial in the respect of South Africa, but still obviously fighting for yourself, but being part of a larger organization is going to be of a long-term benefit. And growth-wise, with your 20 decades of experience in the sector, are you confident that you're going to see this ongoing growth?
I think it depends a lot on whether the markets grow. We're seeing strong growth in Europe, but I think a lot of it also depends on what's going to happen in the East and in India, which has a lot of potential to eat a lot more avocado. So they're learning about the product in those markets. It's a growing middle class, growing disposable income, all of the things that are right for being able to eat and enjoy avocados, more exposure to the rest of the world. So I'm confident that globally we will have a continued expansion of avocado consumption for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, well said. Lindie, can you just come in whilst we swap over with Derek? And Derek, as Joe mentioned, it's amazing, staggering the growth of plant-based foods. And one of the main constituents of those plant-based foods is avocado. So it feels like there's going to be a positive momentum where you're going to ride that wave of growth towards plant-based food and the uptake of that.
That's true. Yeah, we will ride that wave. And what's also great for us is that it really fits into all kind of diets. So I don't think there's any diet where they say, well, avocados are a no-no. Whether it's a vegan diet or a carnivorous diet, everybody seems to like avocados, which is playing right into our court, and we'll ride the wave as long as it's there.
Yep, you can put avocados on steaks and you can put avocados on chickpeas, can't you? You've got a win-win. Derek, thank you. That was brilliant. If you could turn off your video, and we'll come over to the great Lindie. Lindie, hello. Nice to see you again after 25 minutes. Great to have you back on.
Hi, Max.
So before you go live with your little presentation, as we've done with Derek, if it's okay, just want to give a bit of a background on yourself, especially for the people listening on the podcast. And so I won't major too much on Mission Produce because I'll let you do that. So you're the Southern Africa country manager at Mission Produce, otherwise known globally as Mission, the world leader in sourcing, producing and distributing fresh Hass avocados. And you're responsible for establishing Mission's footprint in South Africa as a growing country in partnership with Mission's South Africa partners, ZZ2 to provide healthy, beautiful, ripe avocados year round. You've graduated with a distinction from the University of the Free State in Bloemfontein, South Africa in 2006 with a Master of Science in Ag Economics. And in 2001, you participated in the Student Exchange Program with the Virginia Polytech Institute and State University of the United States. And you also completed a postgraduate degree at the International Center for Research in Ag in the Netherlands in 2005. Wow, there's a lot of intellectual horsepower here, and I'm feeling very small now. More smaller than normal. So Lindie, let's hand it over to you. Let's hear from yourself in the respect of your presentation, please.
Thank you very much, Max, and thank you very much for that kind introduction. Let me just share my presentation here.
This is going to work. I don't know about you, Lindie. It's on. I always get excited at that, but it's on. Yep, and I'm going to stop my video. So you're away, madam. Off to you. Over to you.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much, and thanks again for that kind introduction. Yes, so as you said, I'm the Southern Africa country manager for Mission, here based in South Africa. And so the question is, who's Mission and why in South Africa, and where do we see South Africa tapping into this Mission network? And broadly speaking, so let me just get to my next slide. There we go. So broadly speaking, for the past 35 years plus, Mission has been the global leader in the avocado industry and defined by trend setting and groundbreaking and leadership in this market. And in the sense of thinking global, but acting local, we've got the different sales offices across the world, 3 of them, one in the US, one in Shanghai, China, and one in Europe, in Rotterdam, and then 9 premier origins of sourcing across the world, which includes South Africa now for the past 2 years. 11 ripening centers across the world. This is very important. I'm going to come back to this because this, on our philosophy of it's all about quality. The ripening centers, the distribution centers, and where they're positioned and the role that they play is very important to provide this footprint across the world. So Mission also has about 11,000 acres of trees of their own. That's about 5,000 hectares, which is massive by its own, but we also source from way beyond these acres that we farm on. So the main objective here is to supply the world year round. We've got clients across the globe, and they don't want avos just in certain seasons. They want avos throughout the year. And the only way to do that, and that's where Mission has this competitive advantage, is we source across the world to fill this gap, to fulfill the need for our clients across the world. And Max, this enables you and I to buy this nutritious and delicious and trendy now avocados for ourselves anywhere we want, whether it's a retailer, wholesaler, in the food services, restaurant, catering, wherever it is, and in the form that we want. And this is really important, and this is what Mission enables and partners, and it makes us a very good partner with retailers to be able to do this. And the benefit also comes down for the growers, because the grower base benefit from these long-term relationships that we have with our clients. You would see here this layout that I have presenting shows the different sourcing countries that we work with, and it fits like a puzzle. It literally fits like a puzzle to fit in every piece of the year from different sources. And we also, very important to note, we don't want countries to be competing against each other, but rather complementing each other. And Derek mentioned this. It's about growing the category, and this is possible through this sort of strategy. So Mission in South Africa, you mentioned it there with your introduction. We've partnered with the best partners with the best, to having ZZ2. ZZ2 is most definitely the most progressive and growing growers in South Africa. Very reputable. They've got some of the best technology that they apply. And then with Core Fruit, which is the logistics and the export agent partner in our operations, they are the biggest exporter of fruit beyond avocados, biggest exporter of fruit in South Africa. It gives us that edge to be the most competitive and most efficient in our game. The question is, why South Africa? Why did Mission come to South Africa? Why the interest in our industry? So I tend to disagree a little bit with Joe on the flattening out of the market. We do definitely see a massive growth potential still in Europe and the UK. Asia, Max, by your example of when you were a kid, you didn't even know what an avocado is. Now, we technically speaking, or generally speaking, we are there with Asia at the moment. Asia is still learning to eat avocados, and it's just leapfrogging ahead as they get used to the product, they get used to the uses of it and the nutritional value of it. So there's a lot of potential for South Africa to tap into those markets. South Africa is known for its high quality fruit as well. And we can fill in parts of the market and part of the year gaps that's quite low in supply in the world. And one of the hot topics always here in South Africa is the potential of market access to China. And that makes us a very good potential. We're closer to China than Peru, for instance, our competitor. and a lot of potential for that growth. Now, on China, this is where Mission has a very good advantage and delivering also a huge potential for the South African industry, because the Chinese market is not easy. Roughly 10 years ago, they didn't even know what an avocado is. And thanks to Mission and all the initiatives with their partners, that's a different story at the moment. The Chinese market grew by 1,000% since 2014. And they only eat about 40 grams per capita, because a large section of that market doesn't even know, hasn't been introduced to avocados yet. So if you compare that and you look at the US, that's a very sophisticated market that consumes about 4 kilograms. If you can take per capita, if you can take that 40 grams in Chinese to the 4 kilogram, we are not nearly there in terms of production and supplying enough. So China is definitely a very lucrative market for us. And for Mission, we've got the tripod or 3-tier partnership with Pagoda and Lantau and Mission. So ticking all the boxes from sourcing, ripening, the importing side, consumer development and education side, throughout to the stores and the distribution and getting with our very reputable brand and partnership there with Mr. Avocado, which is our brand there in China. But it's beyond just selling to Pagoda. It's also other stores, as mentioned there. And this provides a plug and play for the South African industry. Once we've got that market access into China, South Africa can literally just benefit from participating in the network and the channels that Mission has already established and become part of that. So a very big advantage for South Africa once we get to that point. Mission is known for the original ripe avocado as well. The technologies, the whole ripe and ready category, Mission has done a lot of work in that space to enable that category. Because, you know, you and I, when we get to a store, we're very frustrated if we buy an avocado and it's either as rock hard, you can use it as a weapon, or it's guacamole in a skin. So you don't want that. And that's where Mission has perfected that skill, that mastership of ripening with its technology and its skills that it's been developed there. And important to note that we have that in 9 ripening and forward distribution centers in the US, 1 in China and 1 in the Netherlands. And it brings us close to our consumers and to enable that very good quality. And it's all about quality here for us to get that product through to our customers. And a few other technologies that I just want to highlight here, or developments rather, that I want to highlight here for our conversation is initiatives like what we see here. It's a cutting edge post-harvest technology. Avolast, where it's a biodegradable, food safe package that's added to the box that increases the shelf life of the product. Now, we don't want our customers to be throwing away avocados that's post their ready date. So we bring in this technology very specifically, and it adds a lot to the benefit of the industry. It's not yet approved everywhere, including the EU, but the ideal and the intention is to have this everywhere. It's in progress and to use it across the world. We also have some value-added services, making us the ideal partner with retailers on the merchandising or the packaging solutions that we offer. There's a couple of examples. It's a lot around the ripe and ready category, also a lot around the size-minded initiatives. So if you can just look at those branding and packaging solutions that we have, the minis and the jumbos, we pride ourselves to say we sell the entire tree, all the sizes, all the categories we sell, and we make initiative to be able to be on the market in that space. An interesting one there is the emeralds in the rough, which is the category 2 fruit, which is mostly cosmetic defects, but there's a whole market developed for that product because there's nothing wrong with it on the inside. The avocado intel, I think the guys from Kantar can associate with the work that we've done there with avocado intel on consumer analysis, also tracking the retail trends and the promotions and that sort of things. And all of this we provide back to our clients to enable them to succeed along with us. And something that we can note today, it's actually World Earth Day or International Earth Day today. So happy International Earth Day to everybody. And in that sense, Mission takes this very, very serious. And along with what we've proven over time, being trendsetters and very bold in new initiatives, we were also bold in this to be the first, or one of the first in the fresh produce industry to come out very strong. And just recently, early in this month, to launch our inaugural ESG, Environmental, Social and Governance report. And this is important in today's terms because it's, like I mentioned before, for us, it's all about quality, but it's also all about the future. And we need to preserve the scarce resources that Earth presents to us to still supply in the industry that we're in. And in this report, it's a very comprehensive report. I want to suggest everybody to go on our website. It's the worldfinestavocados.com and review this report, where you will see some of the highlights from it, our commitment to reduce plastic, the shelf life extension initiatives that I also mentioned earlier, precision and biodiverse farming methods, solar panels that we use at some of the facilities. And then also, you would see there, we've got 50% of our employees are now women, and almost 20% of them were promoted in 2020. So we really, inclusivity and diversity, we put our money where our mouths are to get there. This also reflects in what our partners do. Our partners here in South Africa with ZZ2, they've got what they know as natuurboerdery. So Max, that translates as nature farming, and which forms the base of their philosophy and strategy to be nature-friendly farming and oriented. So the ecology doesn't come second in this industry. And Mission definitely supports that and stand by that. So that in a broader sense, that's us from Mission.
Wow. Well done. Lindie, if you could just turn off your screen share, that'd be brilliant. So I'm going to do it slightly back to front. Nature farming. Well, what a great line. And what I'm so proud about actually with your presentation is the diversity, the sustainability element of it. It is right on message, but it's also it's as the M&S says in the UK, we have a plan A over sustainability because there is no plan B, and that's a bit glib on a marketing perspective. But if we've got more businesses like you creating that behavioral change in the respect of business to drive that diversity, farming for nature and the sustainability, and well done on picking up on World Earth Day. We as a sector are going to be in a far better place, and it's going to be even easier to present fantastic fresh produce to the consumer. And Avolast, just on the wastage levels within the UK, we throw away 1.2 million bananas a day, and I dread to think what that is on avocados, because as you said, there's always that dilemma as to it's rock hard, it's going to be a weapon, or I've got guacamole, and you always want something in between. So if you can create that magic dust with your Avolast technology, that's going to be fascinating. So I already follow you on a global basis. So if you're a retailer or a marketeer or even a consumer, have a look at Mission Foods, because they're definitely creating a new way of thinking in the fresh produce sectors on an international basis. Lindie, just stay there. Can we have in Trevor and Roger, please, and also Leanne? So Lindie, are you confident that this growth, especially within China, are you confident that this growth will just keep coming?
See, Max, it's not easy, and it's never been easy. So developing a market from scratch and ensuring that your consumers are comfortable with the product, and then increasing their their consumption thereof. That is a process. It's a costly process. We've experienced this ourselves. A Mission in China. It's not just entering a market and it grows from there. It takes a lot of school. It took a lot of school fees, a lot of investment, the right partnership, the right understanding of that market. But if you get that right, the potential is there. The growth will be there. Asia consumes, in general, if I speak of Asia as one consumer almost, they consume much more vegetables then generally the sweeter fruit consumers of Europe and North America. And that by itself poses a potential for avocado growth. So we're very optimistic on the growth of the potential. We have not reached nearly what can be achieved in spreading this product and growing this category.
Fantastic. And just to give you those snapshot examples, Joe from Kantar with his young daughter feeding her avocado and banana, but not together. And as the example that you gave of the Chinese, what a huge market. Lindie, thank you very much. If you could just turn off your video, Trevor, Roger, we're gonna slightly press gang you because it's going to be myself and Leanne who are going to be asking you questions. So I'm the nice guy, so I'm the good cop. She's the bad cop. Just to pre-warn you. But Trevor, can we start with you? Trevor, can we just start with you? Can you give a bit of background on yourself and the Fruit Farm Group, please?
Yeah, thank you very much, Max. Thanks, Leanne. So we've been involved in avocados in South Africa production since 1985. We are a multinational group based out in Belgium. We've also got offices in Uruguay, Brazil, and Turkey. In South Africa, we have a local partner, a BE partner. So we have a local footprint, so to speak. But as I say, avocados is our business, and we've been here since 1985. We have a footprint ranging down the eastern seaboard. You would have seen from Derek's map there, right up in the north, up above Zanin, coming down the eastern seaboard down to, let's say, Durban, where the Sharks play, Max, you'll know them. And then further down. We also have a deciduous footprint of table grapes and apples down in the Western Cape. And I need to link on to what Lindie said there, that we're going to use some of that knowledge and expertise as we look to the east, because you can't just walk into the new market. So our deciduous products, where we have customers and we have logistics and we have some knowledge, as fully support what Lindie said there. We're going to go step by step, but that's going to aid for us. But we're a growing exporter. We work with lots of grower partners in South Africa. We have our own farms and our own pack houses, and we have a nursery which we acquired recently. And that we're going to talk about later is one of the constraints in the industry. And you saw from Derek's graph there, the number of nursery trees climbing from, say, 300,000 up to 1 million trees, clonal trees. And the Fruit Farm Group South Africa is now part of that, and obviously trying to deliver trees to our growers so we can support the growth and the ambition of our partners.
Yeah, and Trevor, just on that side, if I was looking to set up an avocado farm in South Africa, and I ordered my plants today because of the shortage of them, when would I get my plants delivered?
I think we're busy addressing that, Max. So if you had asked me that 2 years ago, I would have said about 5 years. But now the order book's about 2 or 3 years.
Oh,
I think that's more realistic, but we still need to improve on that. And there are a lot of new nurseries coming in belonging to the association, which we need. And I think all of us together will be able to deliver quality trees into the industry and obviously support the growth and the investment, because we're not the only ones. Citrus and macadamias are also planting. And if we don't give avocado trees, the growers are going to choose something else to plant. So that's part of it.
Trevor, well said. And Roger, over to yourself. An introduction on yourself and the Halls Group, please.
Thanks very much. So, yeah, as I said, Roger Armitage. I'm the MD for Halls Fresh Produce South Africa. I've been with the group for approximately 1 year. And I think, like Lindie, I'm also an agricultural economist, and certainly have enjoyed the new challenge coming into the avocado industry here in South Africa. I think in terms of Halls, it's obviously a really well-known brand. It's a family-owned company, which is 130 years old and has been providing fresh produce solutions for over a century now. We're fully vertically integrated, so we have our own farms where we are producing avocados primarily, but also a bit of pecans and lychees. Also then involved in terms of sourcing for our outgrowers and marketing their production primarily into the EU, where we have offices in 4 of the main avocado markets in the EU, and a really strong sales team on the ground in the EU, with strong relationships with the retail trade and the trade on the ground. I think in terms of the support that we offer our outgrowers who market through us, we also have invested into a nursery to address the clonal tree requirement issue. We have some really exciting programs in terms of grower training called Avocado, and online e-learning training to assist our growers with some of their training and skills capacitation issues, which I think is also one of the constraints in the industry. And then also, taking it through our pack houses, and then obviously into the vertical and the really strong sales focus and teams that we have in the EU, and now also lately in China, where we have a growing footprint in 2 of the cities in China over the last 3 to 4 years.
Fantastic. Roger, thank you. Leanne, it's one thing that I learned with one of our previous broadcasts was that I keep on rolling out this figure that in an average year, South Africa exports 4.5 million tons of amazing fresh produce. And on the wholesale broadcast that we did, I didn't realize that internally that you're serving Africa with 3.5 million tons of produce within South Africa itself. I think you had some questions of the gentleman on that basis.
Yeah, I did. I think probably, there's 2 parts of the story to sort of chat to Trevor and Roger about. And one of them is that, from Joe's presentation and the downward price pressure on avocados, particularly coming out of the UK, and South Africa is really sort of a one market trade at the moment into Europe. What impact do you see that's going to have on the avocado industry, in terms of price deflation? How is that going to affect our growers? How is it going to affect our plantations, particularly because we're quite slow to open up the other markets for us to diversify our offering globally at the moment?
Trevor, over to you.
So yeah.
Thanks, Leanne. Yeah, so I think that the price pressure, there are volumes going into Europe, and that price pressure will come. And I think that we need to offset that from an increased production per hectare. And I think we're doing that. I think in the last 5 years, there's been a lot of focus around a different way of farming avocados, high density plantings, different mechanisms. And if you do the sums, our average is around 10 ton a hectare, and that's not going to cut it in the future. We need to get that up to, and I think the commercial big farmers are doing that, or good farmers are doing that. We need to get that up to 15 to 20 tons per hectare to really bring that viability and offset some of that price pressure. But I also agree that we need to look for alternative markets, and undoubtedly the focus on the East is going to help us relieve some of that pressure there, and Derek spoke about that. And finally, though, I think the extended season. So if you're fortunate enough to have production in different regions, you can balance the windows. You're always going to have some peak windows of supply. Also, from Derek's graph, you saw some windows that are not supplied, let's call it, to the full. So there are some window opportunities there. But I think it's a combination of all of that. We certainly will look after our mature, strong markets of Europe and the UK. We need to increase our production. We need to look for new markets. South Africa itself, as you know from Derek's thing also, he gave us a lot of stats. 30 to 40% is consumed on the local market, and a lot of it is hard sales, informal. And we still need to really unlock that further. And in the off-season, we're actually importing from Tanzania. Well, we want to, sorry, we haven't yet. And we can import. We're importing from Israel and Spain now. So that'll give us a full season of consumption in South Africa. And then vice versa into Africa. The opportunities are limited at this stage. Logistics is a problem. There are avocados in Africa, but those will come. But certainly the East is the focus, as long as increased consumption in our mature markets and the production techniques that I spoke about.
Trevor, well done. Roger, the same question to yourself with just one slight caveat from myself, that the top 10 fastest growing cities in the world are all in Africa, and we're all talking about your amazing produce being exported out. Isn't there a huge market potential in country and in Africa itself?
Max, I think, in terms of Africa, obviously there are certain countries and economies in Africa where per capita incomes and economic growth and population growth, certainly look attractive. But as Trevor said, in terms of engaging the risk of exporting to those countries, one really needs to understand the logistics chain, as well as the efficiencies around ports, etc., and being able to get, land your avocados into those markets.
Yep.
Assuming that the bilateral trade or that the trade agreements do permit us to at this stage. Yeah. So I think in terms of that, there is still risk around that, and certainly our premium markets in the EU, Russia, Middle East, etc. Obviously,
I get
focus area.
It might be easier for you to trade on an export market than it might be internally to West Africa, because Africa is such a large continent. It's basically four continents in one in some respects.
And I know Joe gave us a bit of a dampened view around the UK, but just last year, if you look at the rest of Europe, where Halls is operating, for example, Germany grew incredibly last year, 21%. It's now almost leapfrogged the UK as the second biggest market in the EU. The Netherlands 16%, Eastern Europe above 10%. So I think in terms of the category growth in Europe, we are still seeing potential for Europe to grow. And there's some thought that the EU could become even a bigger market than the US ultimately. Per capita consumption is only a third of what it is in the US. Yeah. And so I think the question is, how do we unlock that potential?
Fantastic. Leanne, is it okay if we bring Lindie and Derek back in?
Absolutely. And we've got a question, Max.
And they really interesting question. We'll see who wants to take this on from one of our great contacts in the UK, from Glenn Goodwin. What is the best way to store avocados? What's opened in the kitchen? So come on, who wants to have a go at that one?
You shouldn't have avocados open. You must eat them immediately.
We knew Trevor was going to say that, didn't we? Just one point. Coming back to, I'm not ignoring that. We'll come back to it a little bit later. Trevor made this really good point about the fact that there needs to be increased yield production on the land that you've got. How are you going to do that? Is that going to be through technology, automation, the deployment of the likes of Giles at KizenHub with their tech? Lindie, what's your view? How can you grow more with less? Oh, that age-old dilemma of farming. What do you reckon, Lindie? Let's start off with you, please.
I will summarize the solution in three. One of it is more better cultivars, better production techniques. So and the collaboration between the cultivars and the production techniques. And secondly, quite often we in the Avo growth cycle, we let the fruit hang on the trees, and the next year it has an effect on the yield. When the fruits are ready, we should harvest it and get into the market. So we should have sufficient markets, diversified markets at the right time, the right places, to make use of that, so that we don't stress our trees, so that we definitely can increase the yield in that regard. And then thirdly, that's on the consumer side. We shouldn't be wasting so much fruit. We should be having better post-harvest techniques and better in-store and consumer practices, so that we don't lose so much.
Yeah, and this whole bit about automation is quite an interesting one. There's a huge drive for it in the UK, especially with picking of the likes of apples and soft fruit, and it's not quite there, but it's predicted to be in the next 3 to 4 to 5 years. But then there's a social dilemma, isn't it? You look at some of yourselves and the great work that you do in employing local people, and do you want to neglect bringing those people in because you've now got a machine picking, or is there some workaround? Sorry, Derek, it's a bit of a hairy one to throw at you, but is there a way? There's so much profitability held up within the supply chain of fresh produce, but you're all doing good and you still want to keep doing good, but how do you raise production levels? Derek, what do you think?
I think very important from the industry side, and most of the growers are members of the association, and one of their main functions has been for many years to fund production research. So a lot of the research looks at production techniques, and those research needs are raised by the growers every year. So it's very grower focused. So we're looking at how do we better irrigate, how do we better fertilize our trees, how do we better prune them, how do we control any insects or disease problems that we have in the orchard the most environmentally friendly way? How do we ensure that there's as little wind damage as possible? How do we pack our fruit and harvest it to ensure that we get quality out at the end of the pack line? All of those things we are looking at as an association, and there's a lot of work that goes into back into the members. We have what we call study groups in the regions where best practices are shared, and all of those things work together to help the industry to be more productive.
So, Derek, thank you. Everyone, do you think there's going to be some groundbreaking development on an international basis within avocado growing, whether it be a new variety to be the next step on from Hass, or there is going to be some mercurial device on a robotic augmentation basis, or if you just got to make do as you are? Roger, what do you think?
Max, I think the improvements are going to be, continual and gradual, and I think, obviously the introduction of precision agriculture, smart farming and agri-tech, I think is probably the area where we can expect to see the greatest innovation and the largest leaps which will be made.
Thank you. I'm just going to give you a ridiculous example just to see if it translates to avocado production in the UK. Dairies, there's the technology is now there being deployed for automatic milking machines. When the Irish company that developed it, or actually it's a Dutch company, developed it, they thought that the bulk of farmers would take it up, and the majority of them did. But actually, there were some very reticent dairy farmers who didn't want to take up automatic milking machines because the answer was, well, what would I do then? Said the owner, said the dairyman. Within avocado production, is the sector within South Africa innovative? Are you ambitious, or are you quite happy as you are and you just let everyone else do your thing? Is there ambition in South Africa to do better with avocado production? Trevor, over to you.
Yeah, I think absolutely, Max, and I think that's going to lead to our step change. I think that the investment and the change in the industry in the last 5 years from a pure hectare and fruit production point of view is going to be complemented with the technology that we're seeing. And I think that the one thing that will change, which we haven't found yet, is the genetic material, the DNA. If we can find a small tree, a precocious tree, a high-bearing tree that we can plant high density, that will be the change in terms of production, etc. With existing varieties and rootstocks, which are also obviously better generation than what we've had, we are using the innovative techniques to already plant at higher density than years ago. We are using companies for drones and measuring stress levels, soil levels, water levels, etc. And as Roger said, it's a little bit of everything, but it all adds up to a lot.
Fantastic. And Lindie, I have to ask you, on the back of your presentation, where you're majoring on the diversity, the sustainability, and your mission as a global business is obviously, I'm guessing, right on the cutting edge of R&D within avocados. Any secrets to share with us about what you and your colleagues are doing within mission on avocados globally?
Of course, a lot of secrets, but none to share. No, just kidding. But there's a lot of development, a lot of growth, and all linked to what I've mentioned, the two areas of it's all about quality. How do we do that better? How do we get the product just in a better way to our consumers? So there is a lot of work going into that. And then, of course, also on the sustainability side. If you mentioned the whole labor and automation side of things just earlier or just now. And there's also a very important point to note how in a country like South Africa, we've got a lot of unemployment. Automation might sacrifice 2 or 3 jobs here because of a particular line, but that efficiency growth and this potential increase in markets and the innovation and these sort of things that I've mentioned in my presentation that Mission also focuses on a lot, that increases the industry. So you sacrifice 2 or 3 laborers here to increase employment with a couple of thousands. Yeah. So that's in the important focus that we look on as well.
Fantastic. Well said, Lindie, because if you're taking people away from the avocado farms, they might be then flying the drones or processing the data that's coming through. Leanne, just conscious of the time. Leanne, have you got anything else to say that you'd like to ask before we positively wrap up with everyone?
No, I think it was maybe just a quick round robin, Max, on the outlook from our panelists, their outlook on the industry from South Africa.
Well done, Leanne. You stole it from me. So Derek, let's go to yourself as the chief executive of South African Subtropical Growers Association. What's your outlook? Where do you think this is all going over the next 3 to 5 years? Is it a thumbs up, or is it a thumbs waving, or is it a thumbs down? What do you think?
I think the next 3 to 5 years, definitely a thumbs up. All of the trends are right for us to grow the industry, and I'm confident that it's a thumbs up for the next 3 to 5 years. Fantastic.
Roger, what about yourself?
I agree, definitely a thumbs up. I think, in South Africa, there's some beautiful orchards being established with the latest technology, innovation, farming techniques. It's going to put us at the forefront of global competitiveness. And I think, on the market side, we've got a fantastic product that's going to be demanded around the world. We've just got to find those opportunities.
Roger, I can feel your smile from 8,500 miles away towards the love that you have of avocados in the sector.
That's great, Max. Wear that cap.
Lindie, yourself. Thumbs up, thumbs waving, or thumbs down? Where do you think this is going to be 3 years, 5 years time for the avocado sector in South Africa?
Absolute thumbs up for this one, for the avocado industry. This is not going to, if you look at the number of talent in our industry, the number of people that's interested in our industry, the investments going into from production to innovation, all of that, I am certain that this is not going to be a missed opportunity in South Africa. The avo industry of South Africa is going to be part of the global picture, and this opportunity is going to be exploited and used to its fullest.
Fantastic. Trevor, thumbs up, thumbs down. What do you think? Next 3-5 years?
Yeah, I definitely concur. They say a rising tide lifts all boats, and the global avocado business has grown. But I think that South Africa and the Fruit Farm Group are ready for the next change and ready to create the point of difference in the market for the consumer and for our stakeholders.
Fantastic. And Leanne, over to you, please.
I was just having a giggle earlier, Max, because I know that your idea of a South African avocado brand got shot down in flames, but you did put one in the bag, the Avocado.
Yes, we're all going to brand that, all 6 of us. So we've got that all on board. We'll be millionaires by next week.
Absolutely. I just think what a great session, what a great discussion today. I think if we look at, the last 5 years have been a period for the avocado industry where they've really sort of been changing the industry, looking at their growth for future prospects. So there's been a lot of work in the last 5 years to plan for future growth. And I think we're on the cusp of seeing that coming forward out of South Africa.
Fantastic, Leanne. And Leanne, thank you very much. And can you just do a big shout out to your team behind the scenes, because we wouldn't have been able to set this up without them. It'd be great to hear from you, please.
Super. Thank you, Liesl. And Jennifer, I know you're on the line somewhere, writing notes furiously to send out to our press so they get notes of this. So thank you, team. You do a great job in supporting all of this. And of course, to our PMA members, engaging, coming on, being open and willing to share their insights and their thought leadership to the greater industry as well.
Leanne, well done. And just before we wrap up, I'm going to put on my H.A. Halls hat on, and I'm not wearing it just for Roger. I'm wearing it for the whole of the South African avocado community. I've been so privileged to have been to visited some of your key sites and met some amazing people. And I just wish people would understand more about amazing South African fresh produce and the growers and the amazing stories behind it. It's a conversation for another time as to how we can get them to be fully aware of how great South African fresh produce is. So I'm wearing this hat for Roger and for everyone else. Just to wrap up, we've got to find out how you like your avocados, how you would eat them on the basis, as Trevor said, the best way to store avocados is to eat them straight away. Trevor, how would you eat your avocados? What's your recommendation to our international audience, please?
Smashed over on toast with a hint of chili.
Boom. Derek?
Eat it straight out of the half avocado with salt, pepper, and balsamic vinegar.
Ooh, boom. Lindie?
Definitely with sushi.
Oh, well, that's a bit left field. I love that. Roger, come on, you got a better Lindie. Let's see what you come up with.
The good old traditional smashed ever on toast, salt and pepper. Can't beat it.
Excellent. And Leanne?
Green smoothie. You put that in with your celery and your apple juice and your spinach. Delicious.
100%. 100%.
Well done. So I'm going to be controversial. I'm going to do, as Joe recommended for his 6-month-old daughter, I'm going to try avocado with bananas. I'll tell you how I get on the next broadcast. Everyone, thank you very much. Go on, Leanne.
I was just going to say, add a little bit of peanut butter to that, and then it's a treat.
Fantastic. Well done. Everyone, thank you very much. Very enjoyable. Look after yourself. And let's see South African avocados and avocados as a whole rock, and you all rock. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Max. Thank you, Leanne.
Thanks, Max. Bye.